Alright, so we finally got back to this generator. I got the new carburetor put on. I got a new fuel line put on there. From here, back under there, over to the outlet that I put on. I got the fuel turned on there. Fuel turned on here. Choke turned on. I got the kill switch over there turned on. So we'll pull the rope a little bit. Then we'll try and start it. And I know somebody's been waiting to see this. And I'm doing it right now out here. It's almost dark, but I want to see it run too by itself. It's got a lot of compression. I might get tired before it starts. Yeah, there's gas in there. I might need to add a little bit. So it still runs. We just have a little issue with fuel supply for some reason, because that says on. It's back that way. All right, it looks like the carburetor might need a little bit of attention, even though it's brand new. Might have a little bit of dirt in it. There's a switch on the side here that says off and auto, and I'm not sure if that changes the speed, but when I turned it to off, the speed actually slowed down and smoothed out a little bit. So we will get back to this, but it is actually running by itself now. Just need to get a couple bugs out of the carburetor, I think. Hopefully there's just maybe a piece of debris in there. Maybe I need to open a jet. We will see. All right, so I just got done removing this carburetor. You saw this run in the video. And today, before I removed the carburetor, I put some more gas in it because there was only a little bit in the bottom of the tank. So I wanted to rule out that that was a possible problem, that it just didn't have enough gas. And I did run it till it stopped running, but there's actually still a decent amount of gas left in here. So it was still surging, which is telling me that there's a problem with the idle circuit in this carburetor, that it might just have a piece of dirt in it or something like that. I'm hoping this will be simple. Luckily, it does have an adjustment screw that's easily removed. So inside the carburetor here, it's pretty clean. And the main jet looks pretty clean. So on this carburetor here, this most likely is another jet that's going to have something to do with getting fuel over to there. Because this is the adjustment screw here. I really don't want to take the float out. So in here we can see a couple of these little holes that is controlled by the mixture screw here. These are the transition holes back in there. Maybe I can get a better close-up. But you may be able to see them there. Right there at the edge of the butterfly. Some really little holes, and that's where the fuel has to come through when the throttle starts to open. And that is actually this plug right here. That little plug there. And this plug here, the actual mixture screw is another hole way back there. So this here is kind of like an air bleed. It sucks a little bit of air through there to help create a vacuum to get the fuel through that. So we're going to take that plug out. And to do that, we have to take out the idle screw here. Now, I'm pretty sure on this being a generator that it's not going to idle against that idle screw. There's going to be a separate setting because this is going to run part way open. You know, it's not going to normally run at idle. It's going to run faster. So that idle mixture screw really should not be a big deal. Okay, that's just an adapter to help hold this in, to take up some space. So we're going to pry this out. Okay, and we know there's going to be some kind of fuel here because it's got O-rings on it. And there goes our float, which is not a big deal. Luckily I didn't lose the pin. So in here we have a hole. This is like an idle jet right here. So we're going to want to make sure that that's open. Because it goes through that little hole there, and then it comes out here to go in where that plug is to get inside the venturi to provide an idle fuel. So if I spray this in here, it should come out that hole right there if I spray in here. This can of juice is just about empty. All right, so it is coming out there. So this little guy is not the problem, at least not now. That appears to be okay now. And down inside here, it looks fine. So if we look inside here, and you know, it's probably not going to show up on the camera, but there's a hole going straight down through, which is where the fuel comes up right here to get up to there. So it goes through the main jet here, then it goes up this side here, and then that hole goes right, comes out right there, and then in here we have our air bleed, and then the hole continues. If I can get a little pointer here, this hole here is going to continue right through here to this plug, this Welch plug, and then it's going to let the fuel come out right in here where these really little holes are at. So if I spray in here, really if I put that plug back in, I should be able to spray in here and it would come out there. So we're going to see if we can get some fuel to go in this guy here, come out those holes. All right, so we got some out of the idle mixture hole. And we're getting some out of the other ones too. So there you can see, well, maybe. So that's the idle fuel right there that you saw spraying out. That's where the fuel comes out when the throttle's just about closed. You know, because even at a high speed, you only open the throttle a little bit. The fuel has to come out there. Otherwise, the throttle has to open and let fuel come through the main jet, you know, the main way that it gets into the carburetor. And then it got a lot of fuel for your throttle setting, and then it closes and slows down. And then it don't get enough fuel through the side, so it opens back up. And it constantly does that. That's why it surges. So now we're going to spray down through here, and it needs to come out this main jet so that we know that that's open. So it is coming out there. It's flowing through there. So we know that that's not a problem. And now my fingers are really cold because it's really, really cold out here. So after all that, everything is open. Didn't really see a problem. I might as well spray in this air bleed here, just to make sure that that's open. Oh yeah, we got carb cleaner coming into there, so everything is open. So it's possible there was a piece of dirt in there, but right now everything's open. I think I'm getting frostbite from this carb cleaner evaporating. So the fuel can go everywhere it needs to go. The only other restriction is this idle jet right here. You know, if this is too small due to emissions standards, you know, they make everything so lean. So I'm going to put it back together. Not right now, it's way too cold. I'm going to put it back together, and if it still surges that I can't get the adjustment out of that idle mixture screw, we're going to take this out and we're going to enlarge this. And luckily I can do that on the machine to where, you know, I can pull this out and enlarge it and put it back in without having to remove the carburetor. So that's where we're going to leave it at for now. So hopefully the next few days we'll see if this here is the actual problem. And it wouldn't surprise me that that hole is just way too small. It's possible that this carburetor was listed as fitting a couple different sizes. I think 11 horsepower and up to 13. And I don't remember what size this is. I want to say it might be bigger than 11. But, you know, I think this might be the culprit, unless there was a piece of dirt lodged in somewhere that I cleared out. So we're going to leave it right there for now. And I think I'm going to put this video up. So we'll catch you next time.